Hi everyone, this is Ralph Johnson here, Liberty University. We're champions for Christ. Thank you guys for this opportunity for me to present my legal entanglement. When it comes to this beautiful class presentation of our PowerPoint and the 200-point assignment that we had to complete last week. That was very tough, by the way, but I'm happy and God willing that I was able to complete that 200 plus assignment with 1,400 words. Now, I won't be reading word for word exactly what I demonstrated and put in my PowerPoint as instructed by the instructions of this week's class. I will try to narrate and summarize, but there will be some points that I will need to read, obviously, so we can all be on the same page. Now, in order to get this started, Legal Entanglement Project by Ralph Clifford Johnson. Don't make fun of me. Yes, I know it's Clifford. Yes, Clifford like the big red dog. Now, we have introduction. Introduction is broken up into two parts. I have introduction 0.1, then introduction 0.2. Generally speaking, my introduction here is the recent developments in aviation laws, I believe, aligns with the biblical worldview that God said in the Bible. In this period presentation, I will discuss new aviation laws the government implemented to ensure our safety in aviation further expands our limitation. So these laws, these new aviation laws, are aligned biblically to what God says in the Bible about safety, love, honor, respect thy neighbor. Laws are first created because somebody broke them. um, Especially with aviation. Aviation laws always first thing you have to keep in mind of safety. You're dealing with people's lives. You're dealing with cargo. You're dealing with a multi million-dollar plane. You're dealing with infrastructure. You're dealing with a lot of people's livelihood. So the first thing has to be about safety and how the government can govern that. And thanks to the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, they've passed a very lucrative law through Congress, of course, uh, that I believe will better the infrastructure of aviation in this country, and hopefully that can trickle down to the rest of the aviation in the world. Introduction 0.2. The expensive bipartisan deal that was authorized more air traffic controllers focusing on reducing runway insertions occurring at the U.S. airports and more. It's all from the FAA. So these laws are going to help reduce runway insurgents, accidents, um, confusion on the runway. Hopefully, get more air traffic controllers in there as well. We're gonna talk about that later on. So stay tuned, guys. This law that was passed in 2024 by the government, it's going to make aviation safer, more reliable. It all has to do with morality, right? So the moral thing to do is to make aviation safer. Now we're gonna go next to the background. My background story, as a kid, I always was fascinated with aviation. I wanted to, fly like the birds, right? And wondering why do airplanes look like birds? Why do airplanes look like birds? And how can it fly? How can it soar? Do the R. Kelly, I can fly. That's what I want to do. And that's the background of why I want to be in aviation. Aviation has gone through a lot of changes since its conception. It is my personal goal to help improve aviation in the future. My love for aviation is what fuels me to complete my degree and to give the best presentation possible. I want to make the world a better place through aviation, traveling, preaching the word of God. And that's my biblical worldview. I believe I could change the world through aviation. What better way can you connect with people and fly different places and be different countries and see different unique species that God has created to speak the gospel to? What better way to travel, right? We don't ride horses no more. We don't, you know, do all those olden time things. We got fast cars now. We barely do train. Train is still a reliable source. Now it's speed train. And the trucks are 100% reliable choice, and buses and things of that nature when it comes to transportation. But nothing beats aviation, flying in the air at 700 Mach speed, right? You can be in the country you want to be in 2 minutes. Now the overview. Social media can reach more people faster and quicker in aviation, of course, because these social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter now, TikTok, and all that. But it does not garner the same real world attention to the gospel than in person. Aviation laws are constantly changing due to the unpredictability of weather, possible mechanic failures, and the fear of losing everyone's life that is on the airplane. These laws are good for the betterment of aviation. Listen, guys, nothing beats face to face speaking to someone and teaching them about Christ and showing them your love and your passion and your emotions, you know, are accepted by them physically. Nothing beats that. Social media, yeah, someone can click on your video, watch your video, and all that. Yes, social media is great, beautiful. It helps out. You can also speak the gospel. You can also reach, you can definitely reach millions and millions and millions of people. But I believe that the ultimate effect is always the ultimate. It's face to face interaction with multiple other people. Romans chapter 13, verse 1 and 2 says, obey the government, for God is the one who put it in there, who has put it in there. There is no government anywhere that God has not placed in power. So those who refuse to obey the law of the land are refusing to obey God, and punishment will follow. Of course, we follow the government's procedure and what they believe is right and wrong. It is good to follow the government because, for the most part, they're going to do things that's right for us, and which is this law that's right law for aviation. I'm going to continue on with the viewpoints here. Over the years, there have been many countless lawsuits that have questioned the federal government and whether they have the right to regulate aviation. There's a different viewpoint because some people just don't like the government to, the federal government to regulate aviation. Some people, some experts believe it should be handled by the states and local governments. Right? The Air Commence Act of 1926, very important act of 1926, give to the Secretary of Commerce the right to regulate interstate commercial flying, but also give them the right to establish flying rules and regulations called air traffic rules relating to flying interstate. This act came into place to better establish regulation rules that the federal government can't just make all the rules. They need to also rely on fellow states, unions, um, you know, small cities and all that to better make correct traffic rules when flying interstate and in non-commercial. Some doubts, okay, these are all some doubts. Some doubts has been thrown on the power of the federal government to pro-regulate these flying rules. The government got the law give the right to the government to regulate these rules, and some oppose that. Very famously so was Norwegia and versus Norwegia versus Goodyear. For in passing on the Demeter, the federal government suggested that it was a little difficult to see how the 500 feet minimum altitude rule was necessary to protect interstate commerce. In other words, if interstate commerce had to kept above 500 feet, the interstate commerce blew up, blew it up, went below it. The interface was doubtful. So this person sued the government because they had an implementation of flying 500 feet minimum, while they can't even tell if that's even right or wrong. There's different viewpoints. Next, viewpoints continues. This invitation indicated that the court felt that the government did have the right to enact and enforce all traffic rules, which is necessary for the protection of the interstate commerce, but might not have the right to enact or enforce rules which may enforce rules which were unnecessary for this purpose. So, of course, the courts rule the government; they can control it, but the government still has to tread softly. And list of relevant case law potential legal. As I mentioned in my introduction, the most recent laws passed was the Federal Aviation Administration reauthorized 2024. This law details what government expectations of regarding aviation. This is the most relevant law that's been passed up to date. Now, I can't name every single thing that's in within the law, but a few things are there in the law. The law created improving aviation safety, enhanced aircraft certification reforms, mandate 25-hour cockpit voice recording technologies. We got reduced runway close calls, strengthen the FAA oversight of foreign repair solutions. This law has so many things into it that's going to betterment aviation for the future. My opinion, my personal belief, the solution to all problems is God. The laws are passed in this country regarding aviation are all parts of safety. They're number one about safety, guys, and the care of people. And they're not perfect. Like I said, my next opinion, the law is not perfect because we all know that the air traffic controllers are downhill. We need thousands of more air traffic controllers. There's still insurgents. There's still things going on. There's still pollution, air pollution. There's still things going on that we need to fix. Now there's practical solutions. New technology can enhance safety in different ways. For example, the GPS technology can help to identify adverse weather conditions. Come on, guys, these are great solutions by creating new technologies to help the pilots, to help aviation. More practical solutions when it comes to aviation managers is to reduce risk distribution and risk segregation, um, to give more, to avoid interference, to give more for the employees to have more training in HAZVAC situations. These are good solutions, guys. Now, in conclusion, the recent laws passed, I believe, will be for the betterment of aviation industry overall. They align with God's purpose for safety, for love, and respecting authority. This is my conclusion. It is better and is aligned with God's purpose of safety for all and love and respect and authority. Thank you guys for your champions for Christ. Hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. Have a blessed day.